Thank you, sir, for giving this out of turn opportunity. The reason being that I have to leave a little early. And my name is Kripa Shankar. I don't have the presentation. So you will have to switch your eyes over all these 7, 8 nice looking faces, including mine. I would like to just simply introduce, though I think it is suggested that keep the coordinates as far as possible so that you don't forcefully attract the attention of the people to create the weightage in your statement. I am the Vice Chancellor of the State Technical University in Uttar Pradesh, which is basically a regulatory university, like many of the other state universities. There are two, in fact, in Uttar Pradesh. One is Gautam Buddha Technical University, the other is Mahamaya Technical University. The other Vice Chancellor is also listed to be here, but I assure you he is not here in that audience. So, as far as you have heard, some of you were in the earlier session, had a very young Vice Chancellor, and then now you are having one which is after the fag end. I only look young, I am not that young, by the way. So it's a slightly different kind of perspective. I would like to deviate from some of the very popular vocabulary that you have developed since morning or for the last 10 years, GER, excellence, inclusion, and many such kind of collaboration, internalization, globalization, and so on and so forth. So could be that my words might like a little bit pungent, but please take it with just moderately pungent. First of all, what is this higher education? In Euclidean mind, whenever we think in a Cartesian way, it means that the fourth story or fourth floor is higher than the third floor. That's how the sound higher appears to most of us. Does it mean that we are talking about bachelor's degree over the intermediate? We are talking about the master's and PhD degree over the bachelor's level, and that is the focus of the discussion today, that higher education means master's and PhD? Well, I think perhaps yes. Well, like it or not, that's what perhaps we have in our mind, that we are talking about beyond the bachelor's level. We have lamented on many kind of examples in the previous session and had been in fact doing it for nearly a decade. Oxford, Harvard, Cambridge, well, if not Harvard, Cambridge, 6 years, 700 years old. Here most of the universities not more than 100 years old, and all of them are declining, like it or not. And those are still standing, like still the temple of learning. So there is a difference. Now, under these circumstances, some of the very selected views, not that I am going to be, neither I am capable of having a very comprehensive view on the whole thing. But the present thinking about the commercialized undergraduate education, which is very wealthily displayed outside this room, has a connection with the future of higher education that we are talking about, and that what we have said in many words. If the motive of the undergraduate education is a business, a privatized university, if online education, ICT application, the way it is said in the context of undergraduate education, then the purpose and the scope of the higher education will not match with the present definition of the third story business. The fourth story is going to have a little different kind of structure. Thinking, evolution of the thought process, being innovative, remaining creative. You cannot be creative, you can only remain creative. That has to be slightly away from a regular 24 hours a day hyped online lecture notes prepared by somebody else. Unless you have that power, unless you have that space wherein you can inject your even a weak thinking, you cannot be innovative, you cannot remain creative, and hence you cannot be on the path of a higher education. So this is one issue, and the solution to this particular issue is that we should think freshly and not intermingle with a word which is very popular. I don't understand the meaning. I hope if I have a friend here, I will be very happy in the audience. The meaning of employability. I do understand the meaning of employed people, the number, but the employability being 34.3791% doesn't actually click much in my mind. What is the meaning of this employability index? How is it calculated? I don't know, by the way, even how to calculate the GDP, but at least I feel assured that some people must be talking about, with enough of the econometric in their mind, and hence they are speaking the truth. But I'm not very sure about the calculation of the employability. If the employability's definition, what we have heard in the context of undergraduate model, remains valid for the higher education, it's not a very healthy sign. There isn't anything like employability in higher education in the same manner as perhaps one thinks in the context of the undergraduate. Higher education is like what perhaps a very recent report of UNESCO, very strange word has been used, makes people good people in the society. That's the meaning of the higher education. I'm not putting the words, able to put the sentence properly, but what it says that it gives a good citizenry to the society. That's the meaning of the higher education. It becomes the guidepost, it becomes the lamppost, it just guides the society in certain direction. That is what is the role of the higher education. And that report is not 1889, it's perhaps 2007 or 2009, as early as that. It's perhaps printed in Professor Pawar's book on the first page itself. So that is the recent meaning of the higher education, if you go by that. So where is the employability there? That is one issue I would like to put before you. And this is why I said that the higher education, therefore, needs a fresh thinking, isolated thinking, and which should take the responsibility of mentoring, guiding the whole education process, and therefore it cannot be a 5-year term plan, it cannot be a 10-year plan, it cannot be a 50-year plan, it has to be a little longer than that by virtue of that. Whereas an undergraduate program might very well change after 5 years, absolutely no problems. Point number 2, there are a lot of intangibles related with higher education. You cannot have the 4th floor without the 3rd floor having the proper structure, and hence the 2nd floor, hence the 1st floor, hence the ground floor. Higher education cannot be taught in isolation. A good higher education would naturally demand a fundamental revision of the education from the elementary level onward. It cannot, a flower cannot suddenly come just like that without having the stem, without having the roots, and without having anything. Third aspect is most loved as well as hated word, competition. Since the competition is increasing, hence we should do this. That competition is brought at home also. Competition is in the mind of the parents. The competition makes the parents think about a particular type of education for their children, and hence the story of the innovative, being innovative and creativity starts taking almost very different direction than perhaps what naturally it could have been if the parent was totally illiterate and didn't know what the competition is. Hence, the elementary education, sir said about the, or you said about the research project or undergraduate. I'll say that the research project before the education starts. If the thinking starts before the child goes to school, as it used to be during the play schools, I think we are on the path of the higher education, which is at a much, much lower level. Well, one thing I cannot help but mention. I got my PhD from university. I didn't realize at that time. After 35 years, I started realizing that it was an Ivy League university, Cornell University, because it gave me the strength, it gave me the power to think something which perhaps I didn't realize when I was working on the examination and the question papers and so on and so forth for several years. That needs to be understood and that needs to be imitated. Education is not for getting the job after the graduation. Education, the higher education is for realizing something, if you take from a young person like me, 35 years after getting your PhD degree. So with these tangible and intangible things, I would like to say that perhaps leaving it in private hands as the things stand now may not be a very wise thing to do. It has to be supported by the government at the moment till we graduate to that level that the private institutions and private organizations take the interest in such kind of capital intensive activity without having the employability index even defined for that. So I'll say that a national policy on higher education, mostly funded by the public money, should be the right model. And other angle at the higher education is that while the lower education at the undergraduate level is in electronics, communication, IT, and so many words have been said, the higher education has a very peculiar kind of characteristic, that it cuts across the disciplines like medicine, biology, ICT, and mechanical engineering, electrical engineering, and hence it can flourish only in a climate where those verticals like this lab for this and that lab for that and that lab for that have to be demolished, at least logically, physically they may stand, and the message of the higher education has to be spread across these disciplines. So with these few, little I told you in the beginning, pungent words, I think I would like to take an excuse. And if you have a system of giving memento, you could please do that to me, because I would like to leave now. Thank you so much.